If you grew up in the 90s, you probably remember exactly the layout of sitcom houses you watch it every Friday night. You remember the catchphrases, the laugh tracks, and the comforting feeling that no matter what went wrong, it would be resolved in 22 minutes. But there is one 99%ers mysteries from the golden era of television that still leaves fans scratching their heads. In the case of the character who didn't just get written out of the show, she vanished so completely that the series later acted as if she never existed at all. We talk about that event here on the Disturbing 90s.
This video contains subject matter that may be graphic. Viewer discretion is advised.
Family Matters. It's a bizarre production decision that highlights just exactly how radical television was changing in the 1990s. Back then, the networks were trying to balance wholesome family entertainment with sudden pressure to tackle massive, real-world controversy topics. We're going to look at what really happened behind the scenes and how a show about a relatable working-class family transformed into Steve Urkel Sci-Fi Hour, and what this tells us about the culture of the 90s television. Because the reality behind Judy's departure is a mix of contrast disputes, shifting ratings, and complete tonal overhaul of the show. To understand why Judy Winslow was erased, we have to look at the landscape of television in the early 1990s. Family Matters premiered in 1989 as a traditional, grounded spin-off of Perfect Strangers. It was supposed to be an ensemble comedy about the Winslow family. Judy, played by Foxworth, was the youngest daughter. In the first few seasons, she was the standard part of the family dynamic. But the 90s progressed and the show experienced semi-shift. The shift was the character named Steve Urkel. Originally meant to be a one guest star appearance, Urkel became an overnight cultural phenomenon. As the Urkel craze took over, the writers faced a dilemma. The show's focus shifted away from the core of the family into Urkel's wild antics, catchphrases, and scientific inventions like the transformation chamber. Suddenly, there were too many characters and not enough screen time, but Judy was the youngest and hadn't been given many central stories. The producer decided that she was expendable. By the end of season 4, she walked upstairs to the room in a standard episode and simply never came back down. For the remaining 5 seasons of the show, she was never mentioned again. Mother Winslow even made a comment in her later season about how proud she was of her 2 grandchildren, completely erasing Judy from the family lineage. This was a brutal narrative that sparks a larger trend in the 90s television. The decade was a battleground for network ratings, and standard family sitcoms were struggling to figure out their identity. On one hand, you had the rise of must-see TV and edgier, adult-oriented comedies. And on the other hand, traditional family shows were trying to stay relevant by tackling heavy, controversy social issues. Family Matters did quite the opposite, dealing with episodes about racism, gun violence, and peer pressure. But the networks were terrified by losing their audience, so they often balanced those heavy topics with extreme cartoonish escapism. The erasure of Judy Winslow remained a fascinating time capsule of how networks prioritize fast formulas and breakout stars over narrative consistency. If you love exploring these weird, forgotten corners of television and want to dive deeper in the mystery of the past, head over to upinthepast.com, where you can find deep dives, articles, and retrospectives of pop culture that shaped us. And before you go, hit that subscribe button, follow the channel, and drop a comment below with your favorite 90s TV memory. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.